Hey guys, Jesse here, and it's new bass day, or new guitar day maybe. I don't know. This one's kind of a weird one, but yeah. So I just got back from a well needed vacation, and I had this bass actually on order about 2 weeks ago or so. And it came in before I left, but then the guys opened it up and saw that it was damaged in shipping, so they had to send it back and give me a new one, but it arrived while I was out of town. So went by my favorite music store near here and picked it up because it arrived while I was gone. Anyways, yeah, so it's a Squier. And as I talked about in my video about the Rascal bass, I typically don't gravitate towards Squier because, like I said, I've played some nasty Squiers in the past, but that Rascal bass impressed me quite a bit. And I've been wanting this particular bass and or guitar. I'm not sure what to call it. It's a bass. It is a bass. But some people would tell you it's a guitar. Anyways, I wanted this one for quite a while, and I decided to put my faith in Squier one last time and see if they can deliver again. They did open this up to make sure it wasn't messed up like the last one. The last one had a apparently like dime-sized ding in the finish, and they had to return it because apparently it was pretty bad. I thought about arguing for a sort of like discount on a damaged instrument, but it was fine. I already got this at a discounted price because I bought it during a Memorial Day sale. Anyways, comes with the trem bar and the tool for adjusting the truss rod. I'm going to get the trem bar out of here now. But yeah, so this is, as the title would suggest, a Squier Bass 6, which is the Squier version of the Fender Bass 6, which is basically a 6-string bass that's tuned from E to E like a regular guitar. So it's played like a regular guitar. You can do all your normal chords and stuff, and has the string spacing of a regular guitar, but it's tuned an octave lower, so it's a bass. So it's it's kind of an oddball instrument. It also makes it kind of a lonely instrument because it's not really a baritone, it's not really a regular guitar, and then it's not really a bass. So it's hard to say. But I wanted one because because it's cool for one. But I wanted to play some Beatles stuff because there are some songs where Paul McCartney is playing guitar and or piano, and John Lennon, I think maybe George, but I think it was mainly John, would be playing on bass. But since they were guitarists, they decided to gravitate towards this thing, the Bass 6. So here we go. Ooh. Well, it looks cool, that's for sure. Let's get the box out of the way. Get out of here, box. So this is part of their Classic Vibe series. And yeah, it looks pretty good. Ooh, I've got a really interesting flame or like pattern or grain in the back here. That's really cool. It's a poplar body and then maple neck, and I think Indian laurel fretboard. But yeah, so obviously this is a Squier version of the Fender original, which is still called the Bass 6, the Fender Bass 6. And Fender still makes it. It's just really hard to try to find and try and stuff because it's, it's not a particularly normal standard instrument. They make it in the Ventera series, so it's a Ventera 60s Bass 6. And it's, aside from the price, the reason why I didn't want that one, for a few reasons, is first off, I like this style of neck. I like the block inlays, and the Ventera series has dot inlays. So I know it's like a really silly thing, but I really like the look of this vintage style with the sort of darker wood that Squier does on these Classic Vibes. And then strangely, the colors for Fender are like red and blue, which are really nice colors, don't get me wrong, but I wanted this sort of classic sunburst with the tortoise shell pick guard just because that's kind of what like the Beatles had. I think the guy from The Cure also had the stock. He might have just had all black. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Playing some Beatles stuff on this and maybe some Cure stuff. So let's see, is it in tune? Yeah, perfectly. No, it's gonna have to be tuned. Is the neck straight? This is the better question. Close. Probably need some adjusting. So funny thing about this guy is that it's 30 inch scale length, meaning it's basically a short scale bass, but a long scale guitar. So in theory, it should be the same size. Yep. Same scale length at least as my Rascal here. Had stock on the Rascal's a bit bigger, but yeah, it's pretty much the exact same scale length. And the Rascal and the Bass 6 actually have the same body. The Rascal is a Bass 6 body with a Coronado neck, and then this is, you know, the Bass 6. So it's kind of cool. I really like the Bass 6 body. It's a good mix of like Jaguar and like the horn here is like a precision bass. But anyways, put that back. We're talking about this guy, so pretty cool. I'm gonna get the plastics off here and get this hooked up. I'm gonna hook it up to a bass amp because every single demo I've seen this thing has been with a guitar amp, despite it being a bass. And I just want to see how that sounds. So yeah, let me get this thing hooked up and sorted and everything. First impressions though, it feels nice, it looks nice, the finish is real good. I'm really glad I got like a unique pattern of the wood back here. Could just be a mistake, but it still looks cool. The finish is real, the burst on this is real good. Usually when you get a burst like this, they kind of skimp on that red part. It's like, they don't do it quite right, but this is real good. Yeah, I'm not gonna get all the not all the plastics off. We'll probably just get them off the pickups, but everything seems good. It's a gloss neck as well, but I haven't sanded off the gloss finish on my Rascal, and I quite like it. So I've gotten used to it. It doesn't slow me down. It's not a super thin finish, but it's thin enough where it doesn't affect playing. So, anyways, gonna get this thing tuned up and plugged in, and then we'll see what it sounds like. All right, so I'm back. I've taken my free lesson, so now I know how to play this thing. It's tuned up, and I've got the plastics off the pickups only, really. A couple of observations on this thing already. Whoever decided to put plastic on these pickups, I just want to punch straight in the face because I don't know if you can see, but the side of the pickups kind of have this metal kind of teeth thing going on. I think it's just for looks mainly, or just to hold the pickup in place, but the plastic they put is on the plastic, like the cream colored part itself, so it wraps underneath those things. So as I was taking off the sticky plastic, it got all ripped and is underneath there. So I've got to take this all apart and get under the pickups and pull that plastic out. I hate this protective plastic stuff on guitars. I know some guys leave it on for the entirety of the guitar's life, and I don't understand how. Next thing is these tuners are terrible. They're pretty bad. I was really fighting to tune this thing up to pitch and then keep it tuned to pitch. I think I've got it okay now. So it's okay, but I think it's already slightly out of tune. And this is a known issue with this thing. The intonation on this thing is off. It mainly has to do with this part of the bridge, or I guess this bridge here, because that's just the tailpiece, right? So this bridge here is like an original Jazzmaster bridge, and I think that's accurate to the original Bass 6. The problem is it's too small. It's not quite beefy enough, so you can't intonate it far enough, and because it's too small and these strings are real thick, it's just not a good match. On the Fender Ventera one, they've actually increased the mass of this, so that one doesn't have that problem. So that's just something to think about. But yeah, I think the main issue are these tuners. Another thing, two more things. It needs a setup, which I kind of expected. The string action is too high, and I think the neck is fine, but the bridge probably needs to be dropped a little bit. And then finally, the strings that come on this thing they are bad. they're no good. They're just really hard to move across, and they don't feel too good. And I think they need to be a little bit thicker, just slightly. Which I know Labella makes a set of flats for this thing, but I kind of like it with its rounds. So I've heard that Fender, if you just buy the Fender ones for their Vintera, it fixes a few things like the intonation. It makes it a little bit better, and just the strings are higher quality. So, anyways, enough about that. So those are the few things about this that kind of make it a Squier, but it sounds real good. So the switches here are pretty simple. These three control whether or not the pickups are on or off. So that's your bridge, that's your middle, and that's your neck. Or I'm sorry, bridge. It's in the same order. Bridge, middle, neck. And this is called a strangle switch. So what this does, I think they called it something different, but it was historically called a strangle switch. But it's just a high pass filter, so it just cuts the low end. It makes it sound more like a guitar. Those strings are bad. They're really bad to move across. And yeah, anyways, that's my excuse for sucking. But anyways, yeah, so each individual pickup is turn off and onable. I like that a lot because usually when you have this 3 pickup setup, it's always just like this one, these two, that one, these two, and that one, which is kind of lame. You kind of just want to be able to turn them off and on however you please, and you can do that with this one here. So, but let me just hit like a more like open, clean chord so I can show you the strangle switch. So that's just G. If I turn on the strangle switch, it really just kills like that low end. And you can really hear it with a bass amp. A lot of the demos I see with guitar amps or like a guitar amp sim, it's pretty hard to hear that strangle switch in effect, but you can hear it on a bass amp pretty clearly. But yeah, it's still a bass. This thing sounds really cool. I'm not quite used to guitar string spacing, so but let's just go through it real quick, I guess. Neck pickup. Middle. Bridge. I really like that bridge pickup. That's cool. And then I'm not gonna do all the combinations, but that's basically it. And then you just have your volume and tone, and of course you've got your trim, which is just a push-in trim. So not a screw. Cool. I'm probably never going to use this, but it is cool. It's neat. It's it's alright. I can hear it's out of tune. These tuners aren't quite holding it together, and neither is this. But maybe after a setup, it'll be better, and after these strings get stretched out, it'll be okay. But it sounds pretty good. I think I have to find the right settings and everything for an amp or a preamp or whatever to get it sounded like its best. But yeah, so let's see. Yeah, this is a little wobbly. So yeah, you got your typical kind of Squier QC going on. I might have to turn up a little bit. This thing isn't that loud. I don't know if it's because these are all single coils. They tend to be a little quieter. But I really do like these two pickups. This one I'm not too crazy about. Now, I know a lot of people like to throw a lot of effects on this, so I have a reverb here and afterneath from Earthquaker. So you had some dreamy chords, I guess. Got a really unique sound, and it sounds like the bass six. You can hear a lot, like again, you can hear this on a lot of Beatles tracks, but Glenn Campbell uses one. Many of the Cure catalog uses a bass six. So I think once I get this kind of, set up and kind of situated to how I want and figure out the effects and stuff, I think this will be really cool. I didn't get this as sort of a main instrument thing. Honestly, this is like just to play around with. Maybe for like when we go to record or something with our band, we might incorporate something like this, some deeper end chords. But definitely if you play normal, full open chords with this, it gets real muddy real fast. It sounds cool on its own, but I promise you this probably doesn't sound that great in the mix. But yeah, I don't know, it's nice, but this is definitely not up to the same level as that Rascal over there. It's not bad by any means, but that thing set quite a high bar for Squier, I have to say. Then again, this was a fair bit. I don't know, they're around the same price, so yeah, I'm not sure. They just kind of, whoever built that particular one was feeling real good that day. This one, still good. Don't get me wrong, still good. Still sounds great. It's just like some of these little things, like again, tuners, bridge, and then that's about it. But yeah, I like it. I don't know, I like it. I keep wanting to skip over the strings because they're so close together. How does Helter Skelter go? You can hear it's out of tune already. Yeah, that was bad. But get those replaced, maybe get that replaced, get the strings replaced, and I think it'll be real nice. Get all this plastic off of it. Anyways, that's it for this video. I got nothing else. Maybe once I get this all set up and play and I use it for a while, I will properly review it. I plan to do that with that bass because that's turning out to be my favorite bass actually out of all my basses, which is guitars even, which is pretty astounding considering again it's a Squier. But anyways, thank you all for watching. I will see you all next time.